Hello and a very good morning everyone. So this is Prashant Goklani and I am welcome you all to LDC ADST preparation day 5. Today's topic is going to be LDC ADST 22nd February 2009 paper solutions, right? So the journey now starts for the actual preparation of the exam after completing all the necessary prerequisites that we had to complete. So I hope all of you are ready to join me for this journey of preparation. So let's start. So here it goes. LDC ADST paper 1 is the first thing that we are going to discuss, and as I have already told you that the paper that we are going to discuss is of Western Railway, and this exam was held on 22nd of February 2009, right? So I'll show you both the question paper as well as the solutions that I have made. Solutions are handwritten, so I hope the handwriting is legible enough for you to understand the whole solution, right? So let's not waste any further time and let's go to the question paper first. So here it goes. This is written examination for the selection of I'll just take an highlighter so that I can show you all the important stuff. Written examination for the selection of ADST against 30% quota LDC in S&T department, right? So paper 1 is the thing that we are going to discuss at this point of time, and maximum time is 3 hours and maximum marks is 150. So all this scheme of examination we have already covered, right? You can have a look on the basic instructions that have been given, right? And attempt any 4 questions from section A and any 2 questions from section B. So that is what you have to do, and maximum marks allotted for each question has been shown against them, right? So everything is written in both English and Hindi, right? Let's go ahead and do section A first. Attempt any 4 questions. We have to attempt any 4 questions from section A. Let's go to the first question, and today we are going to look at only the first question. So these are the 3 questions that have been asked in the different parts A, B, C of question 1. First is explain the various standards of interlocking and define their requirements. Very, very important, carries 10 marks. Second question is what are the BSLB and SLB, when and where they are placed, also for 10 marks. And last but not the least is just a second. Last but not the least is what are the essentials of interlocking, the single most important question, which is very, very important for every one of us to know. It's of only 5 marks. So I'll be covering the full question paper only in English. I won't be covering the Hindi part because we have limited time. So let's go ahead and check out the solutions of all the 3 questions, right? So here is the link for the solutions. Just let me know. So this is the handwritten solution that I have made. I hope this is legible enough, right? Section A, attempt any 4 questions. So let's have a look on the first question. Explain the standards of interlocking and define their requirement. So all the questions I have, the solutions that I have made are from EDSET notes, from various manuals that are like Bible for us. So you don't need to worry about the authenticity of the answers, right? So let's just go ahead and check out all the answers. So as per Indian Railways Signal Engineering Manual Part 1, very, very important. It has been recently updated as far as I know, Part 1 and Chapter 7, Para 7.1.3.1. So this, if you quote the Signal Engineering Manual or some other official manuals that are there for us, then be sure to get additional good marks or grace marks for this, because we have to work under these rules, and if we remember these rules and if we write it in our answers, surely it's going to make a great impression on the examiner. Important minimum signaling features. So let's have a look. First of all, this is serial number, item, and as per revised para 7.1 0.31 and standard 1, standard 2, standard 3, standard 4. So these are all the 4 standards of interlocking. And so first of all, what is the allowable speed? That is the criteria for differentiation between the 4 standards of interlocking. Up to 50 km per hour in standard 1, up to 110 km per hour in standard 2, up to 140 km per hour in standard 3, up to 160 km per hour in standard 4, right? 50, 110, 140 and 160. Isolation. Now Y star, Y. So isolation, is it required or not? That is what is mentioned here. So what is Y star? Let's have a look. Y stands for yes. So isolation is required for standard 2, standard 3 and standard 4, as you can see. Now why there is a Y star? Let's have a look. At the end of the table I have mentioned. So star is for speed not exceeding 50 km per hour if permitted, all shunting to be stopped, no vehicle unattached to an engine or not properly secured may be kept standing on a connected line which is not isolated, right? So a big explanation for a small thing, but I hope you all understood this. And right, so isolation is the first criteria. After that, because we have limited time, I'll just go ahead. 2 aspect semaphore or multiple aspect signaling. So whether it demands 2 aspect or whether you require multi aspect signaling. So in the first standard of interlocking, you can either have 2 aspect or multi aspect. Second standard also 2 aspect or multi aspect. Standard 3 multi aspect. Standard 4 multi aspect. Double distance signal, as all of us know, before the home signal we have a distant signal, and before the distant signal there is a double distant signal to achieve more speed. So double distant, is it required in standard 1? No. Double in your standard 2 it's required, but with conditions. We'll have a look on the conditions. Standard 3 it's required, double distant is required, and standard 4 also double distant signal is required. So let's have a look on what exactly is double star. Double distant on sections where goods train have a braking distance of more than 1 km. So yes, double distant is required for standard 2 interlocking, but there is a condition is where goods trains have a braking distance of more than 1 km, then you need to have a double distant signal, right? I hope that's clear. Point operation, it can be mechanical in standard 1, mechanical or electrical in standard 2, mechanical or electrical in standard 3, electrical in standard 4. Point locking, key or phase point lock in standard 1, phase point lock or point machine in standard 2, phase point lock or point machine in standard 3, and clamp type or direct, which is the latest modification to the point machine, that goes well. Apart from it, 7th point is point detection. Point detection can be mechanical or electrical in standard 1, mechanical or electrical in standard 2, mechanical or electrical in standard 3 as well, electrical for sure in standard 4. Lock detection, not required exactly in standard 1, it's mandatory in standard 2, 3 and 4. Interlocking, key type or mechanical type in standard 1, mechanical, electrical or electronic, mechanical, electrical and electronic both in standard 2 and 3, electrical or electronic in standard 4 for sure, right? Track circuiting, not required in standard 1. Run through lines are there in all RLs, all running lines. All running lines you need track circuiting, all running lines you need track circuiting. Block working, you can have token type in standard 1, token or SGE type in standard 2, and SGE or track circuited type in standard 3, or SGE track circuit type in standard 4 as well, right? And preventing SPAD, no, or why desirable, right? So preventing SPAD, is there an arrangement? No in standard 1, 2 and 3, and yes, it's desirable in standard 4. So guys, it's just a 10-minute video, and that's why I have to finish this video now. I hope you all enjoyed this video. This is Prashant Goklani and this is me, and signing off. Thank you very much, And as you all know, I am Prashant Goklani, Junior Engineer Signal. Thank you so much for your time, guys.